Hello Virgo friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my April 2020 horoscope report for you. This is a very, very critical month because we've got the last open window before the personal planet retrogrades dominate the rest of the year. We have from March 30th through April 9th, that's completely clear from the Mercury retrograde aspects that just passed, and not yet diving deep into the Venus retrograde aspects. So this is the time for launches, big decisions, anything that requires momentum to set afloat in the proper way, anything that requires clarity and oomph, and that needs some extra special focus, free from the types of things that the retrogrades tend to bring up. And we will talk about that because this month we are going to go deeper into Venus retrograde, although it doesn't officially go retrograde till May 13th through June 25th. The pre-transit shadow period, where the same types of themes that come up in the actual retrograde will start becoming more common as we get deeper, will last all from April 10th through May 13th when the retrograde starts. Then after the retrograde ends on June 25th, that post-shadow period is going to last until the end of July. So we've got 4 months of Venus retrograde. So I want to make sure that you know what's up with this. And the more you know about this beforehand, the more you can center your efforts that aren't the best in Venus retrograde into this beginning of the month so that you're not spending the time in the retrograde doing it when it's not as well indicated. So we're going to talk about all of that. We're also, of course, going to talk about some things very specific for Virgo placements and what this month holds energetically for you. So actually, let's start with that. So this month has an equal amount of sweet aspects compared to the salty aspects, as I call them. And by the way, if you want a write-up of the sweet and salty aspects, what they are, what you can expect from them, delivered into your inbox a month early at anniehelpsyou.com when you sign up for my free email newsletter, I do dive deep into all of those specifics. But suffice to say now for our purposes, we've got a mixed bag of transits that a lot of them can go either way. When we have a month like this, it's so critical for us to keep our perspective. Excuse me. And our perspective can be what kicks it over into the positive realm, kicks it over, into that 51% that switches the momentum and, can help it to be the best possible experience. There's a massive amount of momentum, like I talked about before with that open window, and also we have so much energetic representation in Aries. We're just fresh off of starting the astrological new year at the end of March, and we're really, really just stirring things up, getting out of the watery placements that we had dominating with the Pisces energies, and it's really a very exciting time. It's a time for new things, and it's also a time to finish weaving your web. That's what I always call it. This active time between the personal planet retrogrades is when you weave your web, and then as we go into the retrogrades, you kick back. You don't force and stretch and, try to make things happen. Like you lean back and you see what food comes into the web. Okay, so for Virgos, this month is going to be full of discordant and annoying personal planet bumps, okay? Because every single one of the personal planets, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, are all going to be moving through signs that make these annoying aspects to your placement. That's just the best way to say it. Now, please don't translate what I just said as, it's going to be a bad month. I'm not saying that. It doesn't have to be that way. But what it is annoying. And when I have months like this, when things are out of sync with my sign, it's kind of like, it reminds me of, if you can imagine, a parent trying to maybe walk to the refrigerator or walk to the bathroom, and they have maybe like dogs who stand in their walkway. I don't know if you know about these dogs who stand right where you're going. Okay, so there are dogs there. There are children hanging on legs or other parts of your body. And you're just trying to go like a really short distance. And you're like, wow, can I just go over there? So this month might be full of these types of obstacles, also kind of like Paperboy. I always liken it to that video game from a long time ago, Paperboy, where the guy's just trying to deliver the papers and all these bizarre things are interfering with the process of just delivering the papers. So your month is going to be very much like that. Even though there's much momentum, you can get lots done, you can be super productive and be super positive, you're probably going to feel these nuisances. But the way that you can frame this, and this is what I really like to focus on in astrology, I like to tell you if something's going to be annoying. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. But I like to frame it with how this can be positive, okay? So for instance, in the situation with the parent who's trying to just walk across the house, if you can keep your sense of humor, this is a month where your Virgo sense of humor, and I have a lot of people with important Virgo placements close to me, and they are the funniest people ever, because the critical nature of Virgos can see the humor in life, like point out the things that are true, but then like see the humor. You can see the humor in life very often, okay? And you're going to need to keep your sense of humor this month, and it may be the critical thing that keeps everything flowing in a positive way. So if you can then tell the children and the animals, yes, I see that you've aligned yourself with, as hench people and hench animals of destruction and delay. Okay, let's see if we can give you a different purpose, right? Put the dogs outside, you answer some questions for the kids, you get them wrapped up with their activities, and then you go move freely. But it is going to be that kind of month where you are going to have to put a little bit more work into trying to get from point A to point B because of these obstacles, delays, little things running around that are just kind of standing in the way. So you can either explode and get angry and stressed, or you can keep your humor, redirect the things that are obstacles, and look for the positive solutions. And in this way, you can be super productive. And then when you go back and accomplish the things that you're going to accomplish this month, because it can really be great for that, then you can feel better about how you did it. Not that you just reached your ends, that you looked at it from a humorous perspective and laughed at it and made light of it and figured out ways to work around it, okay? You're going to have a strong focus on relationships continuing because the sun is acting as a spotlight in this sector. Although the sun is in the 8th house for all you all more towards the beginning, it will get the beginning of the sign. It will get into the 8th house for those of you who are later in the sign, later in the month. So this month is still going to have the 8th house lit up for all your placements, for all of you Virgo placements. It's just going to be staggered a bit for you. But even for those of you towards the end of the sign that will still have the sun focusing in the 7th house, remember that the 7th and 8th houses are very similar in the way that they focus on relationships. So relationships are going to have a spotlight on them at this time. Spotlights, again, every placement, every sign, every planet has this range of potential expressions. Sometimes we have this stigma with certain ones of being good, certain ones of being bad, but the truth of the matter is that when we live on a planet that is a planet of polarity, like the Earth is, this is our experience, it's a polarized experience where we're trying to transcend polarity while still in form to find our heaven on Earth. But in any case, when there's a polarized experience like that, there's a spectrum of possible manifestations for each placement. So the sun spectrum at the lowest vibration, it can show you things that really need to be dealt with. I always talk about this like a spotlight in a dark room where you see the paint peeling, you see the cobwebs, you see, other things about the room that without that spotlight you would not have noticed, okay? And that was showing you things that have to be dealt with. But the spotlight also can show you the colors that you may like, more. They can make you feel warm and, make the room feel vibrant and, just be really positive, like beautiful lighting in a room and candlelight and fireplace light and, that kind of energy. So that energy is put in your relationship. So for better or worse, you may see some things that have to be addressed. You may have, the clarity to address them. And this theme of relationships that has been going on for the past couple of months, that is going to be strong again now, is going to continue through the end of July as we have this Venus retrograde cycle, because Venus rules love, romance, and relationships. It rules money, your relationship to money, your finances. It rules design, aesthetics, and self-esteem. So it covers a massive amount of ground. So because of this covering of a massive amount of ground, over time I've created a massive amount of resources for you to best understand the things that there are to know about this transit. It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be anything. It is what it is. But what it does do is it brings things back from the past as it relates to love, money, design, self-esteem. And if you've worked in these areas, you can have beautiful culmination. Things you worked on before can bring you money now, and could just be on autopilot. I've had Venus retrogrades that have been super financially brilliant. If there's an issue with your money or your finances or relationship to money, Venus retrograde will bring that back up. It brings up, it's like pulls the rug up and all the dust and everything flies around in the retrograde. So if you have things that have to be dealt with, it's going to bring it up again. Some people fear this time because of this, but I always, again, try to frame this as, don't fear it. Just use it as an, oh, goody. Now I'm going to know what work I did on this topic that actually gelled and healed something, and what work I still have to do. That's how we always like to look at the retrogrades. I'm like, I wonder what I still have to do. And I can very excitedly trust Venus and the retrograde transit to show me. It's like helping you be a super sleuth in your life, which, for the seeker, for somebody who's purposely trying to do everything they can to improve their lives, like I do, like I try to help you do, then this can be super positive. Okay, you can see the results of your work, you can see what's worked, you can see what you still have to do. Now, that being said, relationship issues are very likely to come up, but sometimes relationship energies from the past come up. Like, let's say you're separated from your beloved, they're off, working somewhere in a different country, or for other reasons you're separated from them. Venus retrograde can bring your love back to you. It can also bring love back from the past. If there's somebody that you really want to be with again, it could bring that person back in for a reconsideration or bring them back to you in the retrograde. Sometimes it brings exes in that you're not interested in seeing. So if there's something to be resolved there, you might find that somebody texts or that you randomly see them or hear about them in the Venus retrograde. So if you have to do something with business, something with money, something with a relationship, the clarity, the certainty, the oomph, the momentum is going to be there from the end of March through April 9th. Okay, that's why these dates are so important. And by the way, in the days around April 7th, expect some notable relationship experiences as well, some extra focus on that, because the full moon is in Libra, which is relationships. And that's going to, bring something to fullness, bring something to be revealed, bring something to completion, or it can just be a beautiful time with your partner. But it often tends to be emotional, for better or worse. And so look out in the days that there's like an extra oomph there with relationship stuff. But in general, anything that you have to get done, design projects, let's say you want to repaint your house or do something else, get architecture things drawn, something that's a big deal, that's hard to change and that could be expensive to implement. Those expensive things, those hard to change things, those are the things you want to do through April 9th, okay? Because what happens when Venus goes into retrograde is we put these goggles on. And these goggles cause us to see love, money, self-esteem, design projects, including wardrobe, things we want to do to our bodies, our, how we look, and other aesthetic, artistic things. We see them differently. And what happens so commonly, that is so important to know about this Venus retrograde energy, because it's going to be getting stronger and stronger with every day we move past April 9th, April 10th, it starts diving deep into this retrograde. So you might not be seeing clearly in love and beauty and all of these things. So that's why it's not the best time to do anything permanent to your body, to try to do something for your self-esteem that is different, like that's an outward sort of beauty, that it's, versus like inner work to develop your self-esteem. Anything permanent, anything hard to fix, anything expensive, anything high stakes. Those are the things to avoid in the retrograde, and those are the things that are better from the March 30th through April 9th. But what you can do over the Venus retrograde is, let's say you want to get a tattoo. I'm not advocating or judging or anything. I'm completely neutral on the topic. But from the astrological perspective, it's a major decision that has to do with your physical appearance. So rather than getting a tattoo in the Venus shadow period or in the retrograde, it's the time to think of the designs you want. Find the tattoo artist that you might consider. Do your research about it, and then when the energy has passed, then you can see how you feel about it. You may have changed your mind a bunch of times, and you'll have more clarity. But it's the time to research, do things in the backdrop. Maybe get a henna tattoo in the style that you're thinking about getting it, to see how it feels, to see how it looks, to see how you feel about it. It's like a good time to experiment with things that can be changed. The same thing with design projects in your house. This is a funny thing about Venus retrograde, is that the things that we're supposed to kind of look out more for or avoid, We want to do them in this crazy way. People in Venus retrograde will want to throw out their whole wardrobe and buy, like spend a whole bunch of money on a new wardrobe. Not the best time to do that. However, there are ways you can work around it, unless you have the money to do it. Okay, this is back to what I talked about before. If you have the money, it's completely expendable, you won't miss it, and you won't care if you have to give everything away and start over, then it doesn't matter. You can just buy whatever you want whenever you want. But for the people for whom spending thousands of dollars on a wardrobe, if you wind up changing your mind, is going to give you an in your stomach, that's where you want to be careful, right? Because you're not going to be seeing clearly. The things you choose and the things that you give away, you might not be seeing clearly. Like one time, I have this favorite pair of boots. I've had them forever. I've had them repaired over and over again because I just love them so much. They're really well made. And in a Venus retrograde, I almost like let my friend have them. And, then I was like, it's Venus retrograde, Annie. Don't do anything. And after that, I've been so happy every time since that I did not give them to my friend because I love them and I don't know what I was thinking to like not have them. There was no reason for it whatsoever. You're not going to be thinking clearly. That's why you don't want to make your big decisions. If you can avoid, taking permanent steps in love, if you can avoid taking, like moving in together or... And there are caveats to this, and always you have to trust your intuitive flow over anything that I say or what the transit tends to bring, because there are other forces that could supersede these general things that we see. But these general things that we see are time tested, so there's something to them. So like your big decisions, maybe like experimenting with something, like trying on living together in a semi-permanent way, and then saving the big move until after the Venus retrograde, things like that. So like what I'm trying to do is to help you understand all of these things so that you can apply them to the various situations in your life that I might not be thinking of. Now, I did try to think of everything in my Venus retrograde blog series. So if you search for Annie Botticelli, Venus retrograde, you'll find my video, which is super informative. You'll find my blog series. I also have a blog on maximizing personal planet retrogrades. These are all at anniehelpsyou.com. And I have a Venus retrograde through each of the signs and houses. Okay, so next month when we talk about where Venus is going to be retrograde for you, you can go see that blog. But you can also right now go look at Venus retrograde in Gemini, because that's what it's going to be. And just get yourself prepped on these things, okay? All right, so something that is very exciting for Virgos, even though you have this sort of nuisance energy that we talked about with, the Sun and Venus and Mercury and Mars all going in signs that are just kind of bumping up against you in annoying ways. What you do have on your side is some serious outer planet mega support, okay? And this has been going on for a long time. This continues. You've got Jupiter moving through an Earth sign. That means it's making favorable aspects to your Virgo placements. The later your Virgo placements, like the last week or so, or the last 6 or 7, we'll just say towards the end of the sign, because there's not really an exact line of delineation here. Those of you towards the end of the sign are more likely to have extra positive effects from Jupiter being in Capricorn right now. But all of you, because Jupiter's moving in a sign that is in coherence with yours, can have extra blessings from Jupiter. You've got Pluto, the heavy hitter of the world, in an Earth sign, which is favorable for you. You've got transiting South Node, which rules karma. Now, we think about karma sometimes as like bad karma, okay? And that comes up. But it also can be good karma. Those of you, especially towards the beginning of the sign, you're having this mesh in a more of a wonderful way. It's good for all of you, but you're getting extra kisses from this, meaning good karma, things that you've done to generate good karma can be showing up for you in a really big way. Now, Virgos in general in this period of time have had and are going to continue to have the transiting South Node working in the area of your home and family. That means the topic of karma is extra strong in the energy of your home, family, housing, working from home, roommates, anything involving home and family, and your childhood psychology. So karma for better and worse is coming up in that sector for Virgos, right? So just look out for that. Now, I believe karma is meant to be healed and transcended. So, a lot of times we become so disempowered in our lives that we feel like everything's happening to us. Everything's happening to us. And while it's true that there are certain things that are destined that are completely out of our hands, we can control our perspective on things, okay? We can change how we look at things, which can change the experience. And we also can listen to the symptoms, listen to the signs. Everything that's happening in your life is talking to you. It's showing you, here, yes, you've got some good flow here. Here's something that needs some attention. If there's a symptom in your body, if there's a symptom in your relationships, the transits bring those things from the unconscious experience to the conscious experience so that you can be aware of them so you can work with them. So if you have something karmic with your home and family, with your genetics, with your ancestry, you can burn it off. You have extra energy, extra positive energy towards burning it off, healing it, clearing it, understanding the other side of it, forgiving, and sometimes when you just hear what your body's saying about something that's happened, or hear what a relationship lesson is trying to teach you, just the hearing of it can be enough to dissolve out the karma. So you've got a lot of that's going on. And again, like I said, it's in a sign that's in a good angle for you. So even though we'll talk about the battle and the war, okay? So if the month is the battle and then extended years are the war, this battleground, with the personal planets is going to be a little bit tougher this month, but the war is your side is winning, okay? We'll just say it that way, because all of these heavy hitters are really, really rooting for you or supporting you or helping you, and that can help you to transcend some of these just minor, more superficial annoyances that may come up this month. Okay, so I have so many resources to help you. Definitely sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com, where you'll get this write-up of the sweet and salty aspects, the dates, what you can expect from them, the general tone of the month, my retrograde special of how to manage those. You get that delivered in your inbox 1 month early at anniehelpsyou.com. I have the Venus retrograde blog series, plus crystals for each sign and movement through each sign. There's so much stuff. I have written so many blogs, it's crazy. You can see them at anniehelpsyou.com. If you'd like to learn astrology, either for personal or professional purposes, my course that used to be the Astrology Apprenticeship Program, now called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, will teach you everything you need to know to do astrology professionally and to earn money at it, to make it successful. I'm also a business coach. I've been an entrepreneur for so long, over 20 years, and I work that into the program to help you be able to make your work a success. And if you just want to study astrology because you love it and you don't care about money from it or work from it, it's amazing for you. It's a self-study wonderland. So you can see that at anniehelpsyou.com. You can see that at my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, Lume Life, L-U-M-E life.com. All the links that I'm talking about are always in the notes underneath the video. So when you click on the See More button underneath the video, it will reveal all of these links and you can see them there. If you want written horoscopes by me, plus lifestyle blogs, plus just a crazy beautiful site that you'll just want to look at over and over again. I know I just go there to look at the pictures that I pick out, and I spend so much time picking these pictures out to make them all look nice. I get a kick out of it. So I think you will love it too. You can see herbal tea blends for the signs, how to maximize the sun's movement through all the signs, yoga through all the signs, and just all kinds of things at cozybysweetstarlight.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.